Welcome to the No Hangover podcast.
You can check us out on all our platforms: Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Google Play, Anchor, YouTube, Spotify, now with video. Our social media platforms: Instagram at No Hangover Podcast and TikTok _hangover. Enjoy. Oh, shit.
Either way, get shit done.
I'm moving silence like a real G. Lasagna.
Okay. I was with you until that part. I was like, all right.
What?
You ruined. Ruined.
Shout out to Wayne, I guess.
Oh, Wayne says that shit. Did he ruin it?
No, because he didn't say it like that.
I know, I said it a little backwards, but you got what I was going for.
It's definitely a line that I've hated the more I've gotten away from it. Like the first time I heard it, like I'm not one of these dumbasses. Like I fucking got it. Like first time,
shit.
I was like, that's a really good line. Because I was like, 14 and
bro, don't hate on
not a dumbass.
Weezy F baby, bro.
And then as we get older, everyone's like, did you know? Little Wayne said.
Like, you don't say. Like, fuck. You don't say. I would have never guessed it.
I was like, I wouldn't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys want to get into these topics?
Well, I'm ready when you are. I'm ready when you
All
are.
right, some exciting stuff.
I feel pretty swollen this shirt, though. I'm not going to lie.
You look sunburnt.
Do I? I haven't even been in the sun, so.
Just right here on both arms. On the outside. Look
Wish
rare.
we had a tool alert.
Tool alert.
Press it. In no particular order. I think we'll skip the first one. Bring it in a minute. Eric, to you, sir. Why are so many men struggling with mental health issues? No, I'm just kidding.
Because the world is soft. No.
And therein lies the problem.
No, I was gonna say because it's not really a thing in, I don't know, like male culture. Is that how you would say it? How guys are
in the modern world.
How guys are brought up, not even in the modern world. I mean, it's more accepted recently to be more open about your feelings and shit as a man than it has been in any other time in human history.
It's true.
Yeah.
So not in the modern world.
I think it's like more of a divide too, though. Like I feel like the more we get into like it's understandable, it's okay for men to talk about their feelings. The pushback from the other side has gotten like really strong. So now you've got like these quote unquote guys like these guys who like think of themselves as alphas. Which, by the way, anybody who calls themselves an alpha is like.
Yeah, if you have to brag about it, usually not
Correct.
it.
Yeah. But you have like those type of guys that are like fucking men don't.
That goes along with the Lil Wayne line.
Men don't feel.
Just move in silence for that part.
Oh yeah. No, I feel like I said, I feel like it's an older generation thing. I feel like as we move further away from that and more into, and even like, some people in my life that are older that have been kind of more, stern and callous to that type of shit.
Closed off.
Yeah,
like
have been opening
more.
up more and been kind of more, softening up in a sense. And
I mean, I feel like it does happen with any relationship, in the world, like with men especially. The older man gets, like, for instance, I see it with like my dad or my uncles. They're willing to open up more the older they get.
Yeah, you start to realize shit.
Because, realizing and just as well, they're older. Like, they've already been through so much, so it's like passing stuff down as experience. They don't necessarily, they're not telling you, oh, I felt like this when I was this age or this. But they're more of, like, advice or kind of saying how, like, oh, this is how that made me, or like not made me feel, but this is how other people portrayed that, versus like, oh, I felt this like this during this time and this time and this time. They kind of just give you like a blueprint as a whole of like, oh, you can do this and don't worry about that, shit like that. Like, oh, you can keep that in. Like, we didn't talk about that, or because I've heard, I don't know about you, but I've heard like talking to my dad or uncle saying just normal shit, and they're like, oh, this every older person, and I feel like they're like, oh, the world is so soft, or oh this, or oh that, like, and we're over here like, so do I tell you how I'm feeling or no? Like, how do you want me to go about this?
I mean, it is kind of it still is a little, I mean, it's still like new,
it's a learned trait.
New territory still for a lot of guys to, all right, well,
Yeah, it's harder to open
this
up.
person is gonna say something, but I still just gotta say how I say or how I feel about shit.
It's a learned trait too. Like they've never done it, so it's hard for them to pick up like how to do that.
Well, plus, I mean, this is kind of on topic, kind of off a little bit. Also, I saw like in a recent study, it showed that like men that opened up to their partner or like men that opened up to women, usually it was like 20%. They did a study. I forget how many men it was. It was either 2,000 or 5,000 men. They did a study, and they had all these men open up to like their girlfriends about some like their feelings and being more intimate with them, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And it said in 20% of those cases, the woman broke up with the man within 3 months. And then they saw that like the rest of the percentage of women that didn't break up with their man had a different view on the relationship after that. And it basically like what the research was going off of was when a man opens up, usually women start to see you differently. Like,
yeah, they start to see you like a fucking pussy.
well, they see like you as having weakness and stuff. So then it's like,
and a girl wants to be with a guy to feel protected, and I don't want to. I'm not generally speaking. I mean, just kind of like,
yeah, broadening.
yeah, like most girls want to be in a relationship with a guy that they feel protected with, they feel safe with, they feel like has them covered. And once you kind of, and that's just the reality of things. Once you start opening up and you let certain things out, people are going to look at you in a certain light, whether it's they're going to continue to, see you how you are and understand that you have different, sides of you, and that, one side isn't going to define your whole being, or somebody is going to look at it as like, oh, I thought you were tough and you were this and you were that, but you shared this with me, and now that just warps my whole perception of you, and now you're just a big old fucking wuss. And I mean, that's not the case. Like,
yeah, it could be anything like what they opened up about, but yeah, it's like the perception.
No, listen, if you have someone that is a fucking certified badass, like they do badass shit, and that's what they are, but they have, they went through some shit and it is kind of traumatizing to them. That doesn't eliminate the fact that they're still a badass. They still have that side of them that I felt vulnerable in this moment. I felt weak. Like that doesn't diminish the badassness. But people
to you, but to some people, like
it doesn't.
Into that survey, like some women, like as soon as they see like cracks in the image of the man that they've created in their head,
but that doesn't take away the fact that they could still fucking snap your neck in half if they wanted.
But it takes away their perception.
Yeah,
of that.
it's more of the more, not to say the allure, but it's more of like Dennis was saying, like they have a perception about you already, and then once they find out you're not 100% what they think you are.
Yeah, no.
Like whether
women don't like surprises.
Yeah, whether you be everything else perfectly,
Some women, not this.
Yeah, this is not to generalize all women.
I'm saying the type of woman that's going to find out that when their man opens up to them and then leave them, that type of woman.
Yeah, they're more of the they clearly thought of you as one specific way, and then now they get a different view, and they're like, "This isn't what I signed up for." And they're out of the relationship.
But usually people like that are insecure in themselves, and they're using that person as a type of fucking. They're being codependent on that person.
Correct, and most people. I mean, that's like one of the worst things in the world too. Like, imagine you finally do feel comfortable to open up to someone, and then whatever you're opening up about, they basically are using that against you to be like, "Oh, I can't be with you because of this."
Like, well, have fun in the world, protecting yourself.
So it's like it's one of those things where men then, and those type of men, you feel bad for them, because at the end of the day they're gonna be more callous and more pulled back, more reserved, more like, oh, I can't open up, I can't show you my problems, because if I do again, maybe the same result will happen. Or
you get a lot more men like holding that shit in.
And I get that, but like and this is like just how I've done stuff. Like I've been hurt and you get hurt, but I don't feel like you could let people fucking change how you're gonna be because of, and obviously easier said than done, but like, I've been fucking brokenhearted, and I go through my little shit, I get over it, but that doesn't mean most of the time when I'm getting ready to like hop into something new or trying to open up like that again, like I'm not holding grudges because of what somebody else did to me in a past relationship, or because I felt like that's not, that's not them. You can't let, because then you're just gonna continue to just fucking crawl deeper and deeper into a hole, and then you're just gonna start fucking yourself up. You're gonna block your own blessings and shit like that when you get into that mindset. Which again, easier said than done.
That's also you being healthy in the situation and knowing that if you do this, it can block certain things. But you got it. Like some people, once you get hurt a couple times, they're gonna be more resilient, more like, no, I'm not.
Naturally.
They're gonna be like, all right, this already happened to me. I'm not going through this shit again. I agree with you. Like I want to, especially when it comes to like relationships. I feel like if you're being honest with somebody, that's that's between you and the other person. Whatever you guys want, feel free to tell each other. That's on y'all. But I also feel like if you are opening up, either party, man or woman, if you are opening up, that shouldn't be used against you.
No, it shouldn't.
And like for this study, at least, and what this was saying, I was like, damn, like that's cold as shit.
Yeah, but I mean, what
was that percentage again?
I believe it was like 20% of the women, but
let's be real though, like especially more recent history, women try to put on that persona that they are, and more times than not, they are a little bit more nurturing, a little bit more sensitive, but girls are just as fucking cold and fucked up as guys are. Like, and just in that survey, I mean, you could tell, like, if you're not providing what they feel like, and it goes with anybody.
The image.
If a woman isn't providing what a man thinks they should be providing, or vice versa, like, you're gonna fucking go look for it somewhere else.
Yeah.
But
Side note, as we wait for this, Kirk Cousins, 4th and 8, check down into the flats, 3 yards.
What else are you supposed to do?
Game over. Check down lost. Kirk just cost them the game.
Hey, there you go.
And then he puts his hands and he goes, "Hey,
no,
I fucked up, huh?
I fucked up again."
And now they're taking knees. Kirk Cousins should never. If anybody ever believes in any team Kirk Cousins is in, shoot them in the face. He sucks. He blows dick.
No, he's not that bad.
He's that bad. He blows dick.
He's a serviceable quarterback.
So don't believe in him.
I'm not saying believe in him. I'm saying
if somebody believes in a team that he is on.
He can get you through the regular season.
But if somebody believes in a team that he is on, they get what they fucking ask for.
Well, looking for a completely other study, but this one was posted in December 12th, 2022. Was like, as per studies, men usually take much longer after a breakup than women do. Because it hits a man more deeply than it hits a woman.
I mean, and let's be real too, though. Like, after a girl breaks up, how many guys are hopping in their DMs? After you break up with a girl, or a girl breaks up with you, there's no chicks hopping in. There might be like a handful. Yeah. Like, you're the one that's having to do the going into the DMs. Like, girls have guys throwing themselves at them.
Yeah.
Even when they're in relationships, there's fucking flooded in their DMs and shit. And
no, it's on a girl. Like,
it's a lot easier and in my eyes, it's a lot easier for a girl to get over things in that aspect, because it's, especially in this country, that's what that shit is set up for. It's set up for a girl will always have more options and get the easy end of the stick or whatever when going through a breakup or something like that. A guy has to put up with it, fucking deal with it, don't fucking cry about it, deal with emotions on your own, and then
it's more like toughen up.
Once you're ready, start doing whatever, fuck and do whatever the fuck until you find something.
And that's why a lot of people say, like, build yourself back up in silence, because like you talking about it ain't gonna help you any. And like, that's the sad thing.
That goes with our first point.
Yeah, it goes with our first point.
Talking about it definitely helps.
It does, but I'm just saying, most men are like told, why are you crying about it? Like, just figure it out. With a woman is different. Like, of course, they break up with someone, everyone's there for, oh, how are you?
Yeah, you see it in movies. Like, they get broken up with. The guys are out at like the fucking gym or at the bar,
getting fucking pissed drunk.
Yeah, by themselves. The girls are like
fucking eating ice cream with all their girlfriends.
Yeah, like they're already talking it out.
Sucks.
They're like
drinking wine.
And to your point, there's already a line of people, for a girl. Like when a girl breaks up with somebody, there's already a line of men
You see that
that
fucking
she has to choose from.
that taken thing from their bio fucking go away. That's fucking
Yeah, it's free
Green
game.
light.
Like everyone knows the code. Like you start seeing pictures off of a girl's Instagram. Oh, she's
like,
single.
hey,
like
time to shoot.
her,
She
her
was gonna
DMs
shoot.
are flooding. So it's like it's one of those things. You as a man, you just know this happens.
That's painful.
So you're just like,
Very,
well,
very painful.
because you already know once you break up with someone, you like how fast they're truly moving on, and you're just like, ow.
And I mean, again, now the more that we get into like modern time with social media and technology, it is a lot. The
within
rate of
minutes.
people moving on is
Minutes.
fucking incredible. And I feel like to me, like the times that I've been broken up with and shit like that, that's what hurts me the most is when I see that they're just fucking to the fucking moving on so quick. I'm like,
My heart. Yep.
Oh, it hurts.
People don't. I don't know. People don't value either, that or themselves.
That's how
Just
I mean.
is what it is. That's how I'm going to look at you. If you move on within like
Minutes.
all
Like,
right.
yeah, I mean it's the.
I mean, realistically,
They might feel it for a while. I mean, there's always that. Also, that.
But there's no
drowning your sorrows in dick and pussy.
but there's no like
Well.
foresight into some of these people. Like there's no like how that this will affect me long term or how will I be viewed for this. It's just like I want to feel better in
now,
Yeah.
right now.
Some people need that instant gratification.
But you
Some
don't.
people-
You do
No,
not.
It does you more justice to sit and fucking sit with your pain and
sulk
deal
in
with it and get over it than to not deal with it.
Correct.
Pretend you're okay. Go, suck some dick or go fuck real quick and then
And then you're
move
somebody's fucking blabbering mess, fucking crying.
yeah, because you're
like,
still holding on to that baggage. You never got a chance to really get over.
Am
that
I a
shit and deal with it.
whore?
A little
You
bit,
might be, but-
and that's another thing.
I'm
with,
just the beneficiary
And that's
of this relationship.
and that's another thing when it comes to like those
I didn't
relationships
sign up
where
for these kind of questions.
where when baggage is brought from relationship to relationship, it's usually because that also who brings the baggage majority of the time is the women. It's not always this case, but I'm just saying
Everybody.
Well, it depends.
They
I
express it different.
I
but
wouldn't say-
everybody,
yeah.
but everybody brings. it.
everyone brings baggage, but I'm just saying how people allude to it or how people explain themselves or just are with each other is because, for instance, like say they were hurt in a past relationship. Some men will be different in the beginning of the relationship because they're like, oh, okay, I'm going to take these precautions to show, or to be different or act different in this way so that this same result doesn't happen again. I mean, at least from my personal experience, like shit I've learned or shit I've been through, I don't like to bring from one situation to another. Every relationship, every situation shit is differently.
I mean, yeah, but I wouldn't go as far as to say that it's girls that are mostly bringing baggage because I mean, a lot of the girls that I've talked to before have told me some of their shit, and I do also take things with a grain of salt when I'm only hearing one side of the story.
Yeah, he wasn't shit.
Yeah, and you kind of take it for what it is, but like. We are men ourselves.
Yeah.
We have friends that are can be douchebags and shit like that. We have been douchebags ourselves.
Yeah, but
So
you
it's like-
paint
none of
the
us are
picture
perfect.
in your head. Like,
Exactly.
you're like,
So-
what is this guy really?
Yeah,
like?
so we kind of know, like, all right, like, yeah, he might have been a fucking asshole, but like, what were you bringing?
Yeah.
Or she might have been a bitch, but like, what were you doing to kind of like,
Yeah, what was he doing?
like,
He said,
there's
she
blame,
said.
there's like blame to go around. Most times when relationships don't work like that, there is blame to go around.
And you give like the least amount of maybe not, but like the person in that relationship, like if it's like a friend of yours, like
it's like, come on now, like, that's
Alright.
the funniest shit. It's like, bro, who
I did nothing wrong. It's like,
who are you trying to?
all right.
I feel like we're all thinking of the same person right
It's
now,
like,
where
what-
it's like
I wasn't thinking of anyone. I'm just saying like
It's like
in
we're buds.
general,
Just fucking tell me what's going on. They're like, I don't see this shit. But that's the thing too. I feel like people will fucking try to lie to themselves to keep a certain persona and shit. But like for me, it's like But if we're friends, if whatever, if you're in my life, it's like I love you for who you are, like the good and the bad, like warts and all. Like
I'll put up with your shit.
Yeah, like
your shit is my
like,
shit.
It's like you don't think I know your flaws and where you shine and all that shit. But that's why I'm your fucking friend. That's why we're together. That's why I choose to have you in my life, because I see the good, I see the bad, I see what type of person you are. Like no one's perfect, so like don't fucking bullshit.
And it's weird because you don't have to date your friends, so you can like have a relationship with your friends and be like, you know, best friends with them and be like, this person understanding, understanding in a relationship, like yikes, like
no, it's true. I mean, fuck. But I feel even like in our friendships, we all know like. Whose fault it is most
it's two
of the time.
sides of the same coin, though. Like like a romantic relationship, like you at a certain point, like you know what things people can change and what they can work on, and you kind of know what things are like. That's who they are, and you just kind of like, if I'm gonna deal with this person, just like if I'm gonna choose to keep this friend in my life, if I'm gonna choose to keep this woman in my life as my partner. This is gonna get kind of fucking annoying. Hopefully, she can grow out of it. Hopefully,
there's a lot more unknowns in a female though, because you're like most of the time it's not somebody you've been friends with. It's somebody that you're finding. You're finding this whole new person.
Yeah,
you're like,
that is true.
Let's see if this works. Whereas like a friend, you also don't have to. You don't have to date them. You don't have to live with them. Like they're just like.
When they piss you off, you could stop talking to them for a couple of days. It's not like some in a relationship, someone pisses you off, you guys have to deal with that.
Yeah,
it's like fuck. But it is also just funny that we're all like, oh, I could see how this, like, I could see what the real problem was.
This might be toxic. Do you guys ever do this? Like when it, like whoever it is, it could be any friend or any coworker or stuff like this that you know, and then you see like a girl that they're with, like they're like dating or whatever, or something like that, and somebody you haven't seen before, you're just like, like you just like, like, I know, like based off their past, I have a good idea of what kind of person you are.
This is no good.
A little bit.
Yeah. No, I've definitely. I mean, I feel like we've lived
like, I didn't take you for that.
We lived enough life to this point that we could kind of like pick up on shit and be like, let's see how this plays out. I don't know how it's going to.
You mean like who the people attract, for instance?
No, like if you see two people get together that you know separately, and you see them get together.
If you know them separately.
Oh, I wasn't saying that. I was saying more like person A. And person A is your friend. You've seen person A date however many women, and you know how they act in relationships. Then they get a new person that you may or may not have seen before, and you're just like,
Like, do you fit this mold of this? Is
like, like you have to fit, that puts you in a box. Like you're that type of girl. Like,
because they go for the same type of chick.
Yeah, like I thought it was more of that is what you meant. Yeah. Like they have like a specific type, for instance, or they go usually for like, say, clear as day, you've seen your friend with these different people, and you're like, oh, and meeting these people, and you're like, they all have this characteristic, or they're all like this, or something like that. Is that what you mean?
Kind of, yeah.
Yes.
More of like putting, like not putting down, but more of like, we all have friends that treat women like garbage. Like we all have at least one or two friends that fucking do that.
Yeah.
And it's just like when you see a girl with that friend, you're like,
why?
Run.
What do you do?
Yeah, but you can't say it, so you're like,
yeah. I wish you the best, sweetheart. I wish you the best.
All right.
I don't know what you see in this guy, but
charge it to the game, I guess.
Because you feel bad, honestly. You're like, I love my friend, but damn.
And then they're so like wide-eyed and bushy-tailed the first time you meet them. They're like, you have no idea.
Don't know what you're getting yourself into.
Whereas you see some people are hardened vets, and you're like, you know what the deal is here. Like, you get it.
Oh man.
Or even dealing with that person.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like the person. You're like, okay, I know both of you. You see
this makes sense.
Yeah.
Or this makes no sense.
Yeah. Dating is such a weird thing.
I feel like I've been in that in particular.
Yeah.
Like getting to know people and shit like that, and like going through that process has always been like.
It's a fun, like, fake thing that we all do with each other.
That's why it's literally called the game. And people are like chalking to the game because
this isn't you at all.
It's fucked. It's so fucked when it's like you're being as honest as you can be, and you hope the other person is doing the same, and then other shit comes to light where you find out a lot of things.
But you're not being as honest. Like you are not being as honest as you can be. We all have bad traits about us that we are not bringing to the surface.
I look at a relationship or getting into a relationship the same way I look at Instagram. People are only going to show you the best of them. They're not showing you them struggling. They're not showing you them going through this pain, this suffering. They're only showing you the fucking rainbows and butterflies. Like, oh, this is my life. No, it's not like that. Like, even, and I'm guilty of it. I feel like everyone's guilty of it. Where you paint this picture of this is who I am.
Yeah.
But then you kind of have to
spend a week with that person.
At least I'll like, and I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. And seeing these studies made me not want to do it as much, but I still do it. I open up more and give people more of like some things from my past to show like why I'm sort of, or why these things kind of align with who I am and what kind of like made me this way.
Yeah.
Versus just showing them, oh, I'm this way. I kind of I kind of give them some background information, but even then, to an extent, I'm still
we're all liars.
Not sugarcoating it, but
we're all liars.
But I don't give as much fluff when I'm dating people. Like, I'm not gonna go off rip and just fucking tell it my whole shit. And like,
not even fluff.
When things come out, I'll talk about it. But like, a lot of people do kind of like on a first date, I got to put my best on and fucking do this and that and all that extra shit. And it's like, well, that's not what you do all the time. Like, I get you're trying to impress, but like,
that's not you.
Just do what you do.
But that's just part of like, that's just what happens, and you can't say you don't do it.
I'm not. I said I do it to an extent, but like I don't fluff as
not
much.
even the fluff. Like even if you fluffed none. Like even if you just took somebody out on a normal date, dressed good, but like not to the nines. Like you're still not being you're not giving the most. Toxic
the realest
worst
version of
things
yourself,
about you, like,
and you're not usually on a first date being like, "Oh, my biggest red flag is," that just start going into detail of like what fucked up shit you've ever done or what shit you can do. Like,
there's no scouting report out on
this. It's more on just like you're going. For instance, as you're saying, I don't give as much fluff, but it could have been as men and as people who host a podcast and just in general. I feel like we're pretty well at fucking going through a conversation. We can lead a conversation.
Yeah.
If there's something I don't want to come out of a conversation, I could easily lead a conversation into my benefit.
Yeah, but I mean, but that's the thing though. Like, I don't like.
It's a skill. You talk,
but neither one of you wants to talk about it.
I don't really fucking. Yeah, if the conversation is going in a certain direction, then I will go until I'm like, you know what, like.
Maybe I shouldn't say
maybe this is too much for the first, but like to me, like I don't think I've done anything that's like so fucking like heinous or something that
that's where you're wrong.
Not heinous, but like there's
like I'll talk about times that I've fucking cheated on a first date. I will talk about that shit if it gets brought up in conversation.
That's a lot.
Hey.
But most people have cheated. Most people have. And that's the thing. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, no, I would never. But it's like, bitch, me and you both know that. We have both cheated at some point or betrayed.
Where's the gray area?
Betrayed somebody's trust in that sense. Yeah. And it's like, I'm not going to sit here and make myself, oh, no, I would never. I've never done anything like that. But, like, I'm not going to just come out of the blue and just say, but if the conversation goes in that direction.
Name's Eric, also.
It's like
I've cheated this time, and this time.
So dinner at 8?
But if it gets if it gets brought up in conversation and those type of things come up, then it's like, all right, well, don't ask questions you don't want to hear the answer to.
Yeah, like people.
Yes and no, but that's a toxic.
Men too. People want honesty, and until they don't,
people can't.
That Pandora's box, man. You
not
cannot
gonna lie.
put that shit back. You cannot put that shit back.
In recent times, like I've straight up came out and been like, no, I do not want to know these things.
Oh yeah.
Don't you let me know these things. I have a perception about you the same you have as me. Let's keep it at that. We're riding this wave until shit hits the fan.
Until we have to, but.
Until you're so comfortable with somebody where you're like that, whatever that thing is, it's like not breaking.
Correct. It can't hurt. Because
I've dated 400 men. It's like,
oh shit. God.
I'd be like, it'd be like,
okay, when you say dating, how far does the date go?
Yeah, I literally my very first question would be, do you describe dating as fucking these people or just going out on dates? That's what she describes it as. It's like if that's what the rhetorical comes back to, I'm gonna be like,
I would feel like
this was a good. I'll be like, this was a good run. I care for you, but I will never see you.
Waiter.
I would feel like a little boy.
I would just be like, check please. I'd be like, I need a round. Like, I'm gonna need a shot. Excuse me, sir. Make it a triple. Like,
we're about to make it 401.
Boom.
That's like what you hear on a first date type shit. But then, for instance, if that's what you hear on a first date, that changes the whole dynamic of the relationship.
Well, no shit.
If you hear this, say you're 2.5, 3 years in, you're like thinking about marrying someone, and they're like, I want us to be completely honest with each other before we get married. I've had sex with, and then they drop a bombshell like that.
God, like,
I don't want that conversation.
No, I'll be like, why would you tell me that now?
I would be like,
why would you do that?
Nothing good comes out of this
do?
conversation
Honestly,
at this time.
Like,
Correct.
Jesus Christ. I'd be like, what the
I'd
fuck?
be like,
You
you
just
should
wanna
have
torture
died
me,
with
don't
that.
you?
Yeah,
really
you should
just
have
wanna
died
fucking
with that
torture me, don't
information.
you? No, but I feel like that's why it's important to like have those uncomfortable conversations and get shit out. As the relationship goes on, I feel like the sooner you get these things out, the easier it is to make these type of decisions. And like in your head, is this someone like, is that something, back to my point, is that something that I could deal with and like understand that is a part of this person?
Yeah,
Have
be an
you
adult
ever-
about certain things too.
Remember when we watched the movie Gone Girl, the Ben Affleck movie? One of my favorite lines of all, like in that, I think it's in the book where it's like
That movie's so fucked up too.
exactly, but it's like it's about people like who have been together for relationships rediscovering things about them that they might not have known.
Is that the movie where he's like he's basically a cook?
No, that's the Deepwater Anadarmus movie.
No, that's when he like his wife is like blackmailing him and framing him for like a murder or like trying to get
spoilers. I'm gonna cut that part out.
I mean, that movie's how old now?
10 years, 9 years.
If you haven't seen it now, that's not a spoiler.
Oh, well, it's a Ben Affleck, Rosamund Pike, David Fincher movie. It's really good, but it's about about discovering your partner and the one review I saw of it is like, unfortunately, as you go on in life, there will be a time in your relationship and your marriage where your partner will surprise you. And in most times, that surprise is going to be a disappointment.
Yeah.
That's like not going to be a good surprise. And it's the whole movie is like they tried to be like this adventurous couple, like for their 1 year anniversary they did this, for their 10-year anniversary they did this, and then their marriage is completely falling apart. So they've created this image in their head of each other and how they've always been this perfect thing, and then when they see this
as a whole,
their life, and they have a great marriage at first, and then when they see this thing collapsing in their lives and the recession and the financial crisis, and it becomes
shit.
Yeah, and it leads to a much darker path. But it's one of the darker movies you can.
Yeah, but like I said, I feel like that's why it's just you just fucking be yourself. Don't fucking
to a point though.
No, bro, fuck it, fuck it. I mean, because
you do. I mean, the goal is
like,
to find someone who loves you for you.
Yeah, like I said, like I'm not out here fucking just giving out my whole life story at first, but I just go with the conversation. If it gets to a point where I'm like, you know what, I would love to talk about this, but I'm not comfortable talking about this, which for me personally is just not much. Because again, I don't feel like I've done anything that's so like shitty that it, if someone's gonna think that I'm a shitty person for what shitty things I've done, it's like, all right, well, you know, most people have done this shit. Like, I fuck up. I'm not a saint, but like, if they're gonna get mad at me at that, then it's like, then you are not the person I want to be with, anyways.
Right.
Like, if I'm out here fucking murdering somebody and I'm keeping that shit a secret, and then, oh, hey,
Here's
by
the
the
thing.
way, like, I shot somebody.
I'm a bank robber.
Like, I fucking killed people in cold blood. Like,
You want to
you
be on
still
my
love
yacht?
me? Like,
Yeah.
like, but, like that movie, people got fucking deep, fucking dark, twisted minds. So
Yeah.
you just never know. You never know.
It's a great movie.
It really was. It was
Fucking
pretty fucking.
Ben Affleck, man. Great movie.
Sucks, but he did do a good job in that movie.
And The Town, and Argo.
I don't
I
think
did
Ben
watch The
Affleck
Town. I never
sucks.
watched Argo.
I just didn't like him as Batman.
I didn't like him.
That's
as
my
Batman
only take.
either.
He's a good Bruce Wayne. He's not a good Batman.
I like him.
Actually,
in other
he's actually
roles.
fine. He's just in a bad movie.
Just like, what's his name? Pattinson is a good Batman, not a good Bruce Wayne.
We don't know that yet. He's been Bruce Wayne for like 40 minutes.
Yeah, but he was such a fucking
Gothic, goth little nerd. That's what it seemed like.
this shit sucks. I'm rich. That's what it just came. I'm like, bro, I want the fucking playboy.
His life does kind of suck.
It does, but that's what Batman's for. Bruce Wayne is the fucking playboy billionaire, fucking.
That's why
rich.
Christian Bale. That's my guy.
It's also in a much better movie, guys.
Yeah,
Christopher Nolan, like, no offense, he makes really good fucking
yeah,
movies.
he does. Bro,
Just saying, Christian
offense
Bale's the goat.
taken.
That's all I'm saying.
But like Zack Snyder, like, no offense to him for making Batman vs Superman, or I think Matt Reeves made the Batman. It's like, you're not Christopher Nolan, and that's okay.
Well, it's
Not
just a different-
nobody else is.
Yeah, it's just a different version.
Fuck. Yeah, well, we digress. We digress on the Batman stuff. But yeah, I mean,
It's more of a relationship talk.
with the Batman,
Yeah, it was a segue off of the like being who you are, kind of. That's the mask, right?
he is not who
I'm
he
Batman.
The Bruce Wayne is the mask.
is. Bruce Wayne is the mask.
The gaping cow is who he really is.
Boom. That's why he's.
That's
the
why
best.
he's the best superhero.
That's why he's the best.
No,
Yes, he is better.
I'll die on this hill. But it
All right,
doesn't
that's
matter.
fine. So will Superman. So there you go.
I'll die with my boy.
Just
If
like
it was one person in the entire planet though, in the entire universe that I'm like, oh, please save my life, I'm picking Superman over Batman.
okay.
Okay,
That's
but
fair.
you know what's a great analogy? You know how everyone in the NFL is fucking super athletes? You know what separates them though? The mindset.
The it
The
factor.
fucking and Batman has that. He is willing to fucking
Right,
go the
you, sir,
distance.
shut the fuck.
Superman has too much of a fucking conscience.
Oh.
With all that power. He has all the talent in the world, but doesn't have the fucking dog in
I'm
him.
a Superman fan. I'm just not as big of a
He
fan.
don't have that dog in him.
He's that guy.
Batman
Simply,
does.
Super-
he is that guy.
Batman fucks is basically what he's trying to get at. Have you seen that
Batman's
meme?
got that dog in him. Oh shit! All right, what's next? What we got? What we got? What we got?
That's fucking wow.
I only know one of the two stories remaining. I only have information.
Info.
Proprietary. I don't have any proprietary information. I have what I know, what I believe. The video.
Government.
That one. Okay, you're going off the top.
the
I'll
Dana
let
White
I'll
shit?
let Eric decide which
Well, I
direction
just
you want to
said
go.
Dana White, so I don't care. We can talk about UFOs and space. I just saw. Did SpaceX just launch something today? Because on my way down here from
Nope, that was another UFO.
from Jacksonville, I saw something fucking.
I wouldn't be surprised.
UFO sighting.
They're at work all the time.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. Just driving down I-95, seeing that shit.
You ever
Or
been
to
for a launch at Kennedy?
I have actually. My dad worked at NASA. For
Fucking
a
cool.
while,
Nope.
so we went. Yeah, that shit
One of
was-
the cooler things you'll ever see.
Yeah, that shit is pretty
Probably should do that
powerful.
one of
It's a
these days.
powerful fucking feeling. Like you just like holy shit.
Yeah, you get like the physics of like how the world works.
Yeah,
being
like-
at one of those things, you're like, oh,
Trying to shoot something into fucking space takes a lot of fucking resources and energy and fucking fuel and a whole bunch of fucking manpower.
We'll get to the next story eventually. Have you guys ever seen the movie October Sky? It's about rockets.
Nope.
Jake Gyllenhaal. He's a kid. Very good movie. It's about the space race and shit like
The
that.
space race. No, I haven't, but space is pretty fucking wild.
It's got, you know they use over like I think it's like 100 or 100,000, which is a very big difference. But I think it's like 100,000 gallons of water every time a rocket goes
It's
up.
definitely not 100 gallons.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean 100. I meant like either like 100. I don't know if it was 100,000 or how big of the gap was, but it's a fuck ton of water
How big are the guys?
to suppress the sound. Just the sound alone of when a rocket takes off. Like
I mean, it's one of those experiences. Like if you don't live in Florida, or I guess Houston still launches things.
Do they? I don't know.
But if you've never lived in one of those two states, I would assume that like
not something
how do
you
you
s-
what do you think about like NASA and space exploration? Like I could see people being like, "That's not real."
yeah,
But like if you haven't seen it,
someone in
but
the
we see
backwoods
it
of
every
Kansas.
fucking
Yeah.
every week. Somebody's
like-
like, "Look outside," and you're like,
Oh shit! Look
Yeah.
at that. But I mean, the UFO sightings. That's where all the UFO sightings happen in the fucking Midwest, and
and we don't get those.
No, we
Florida
don't.
doesn't get like UFO sightings.
No, we don't. Maybe there's a reason because we're launching so much shit into space. We already have an eye up there looking. So.
We also don't have trees.
well, plus, yeah, I think it's also another thing. Like when I was out in Washington, for instance, not
Sasquatch
not
country.
close to Seattle, of course, but when I would go to like Rainier, and you'd just be outside, I saw the most fucking stars I've ever seen in my life. Like
Yeah.
when it's actually dark, when you actually don't have
No
cities,
light
Less city lights.
when you don't have cities, 50, 100, or 1,000 miles away, you're just out there.
Yeah.
There's nothingness. The sky is crazy at night. And just imagine you see all these stars all the time, and then something like that happens. Like I think I saw 1 or 2 shooting stars while I was there.
But I've been seeing shooting stars more often here.
I've never seen one.
It's never,
I've never seen one in person.
bro. It's pretty
I think I've seen maybe 1 in Florida
it's like,
in my
holy
life.
shit, like-
And within a year time in Washington, I saw 2. I thought that was pretty fucking cool. I was like,
I would love to see one. Like if there has to be an app of like saying like this will come into your vision.
yeah.
probably.
That has
I'm
to
sure.
be out
I'm
there
sure there
somewhere.
is. the way they
But
monitor the
shooting
Earth.
stars are like so fucking like quick. Like it is like that. Like
It's a split second. Like,
But I mean, they're tracked for years, though.
most of the time, like they're asteroids. Most of the time, just flying by. It's not actually a star. Star is. I just had this conversation.
A star goes out, and we won't see it for a couple years.
billions.
Someone asked, "Is a star like its own thing, or is it the sun?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "The star. A star is the sun.
The sun,
just
the sun
not
is
our
a,
sun."
The sun is a star.
Yeah, I was
And
like, "It's just not our sun."
the star doesn't have to. I don't think a star necessarily has to be a sun for anywhere else. Does it?
I don't know.
No, it's just I think the properties of a star is labeled like the sun because it's the same thing.
The
It's
sun is just
No,
It's
the
just
sun
a-
is a star.
Yeah,
The sun is a red star.
It's just a big ass fucking star.
It's a red giant. What is it called?
Yeah, something like that.
Red dwarf. Something.
beats me.
All these fucking
Too many
space terms.
I have Venus on my arm and that's it. I don't know the rest.
But we have one sun in our solar system. But there has to be solar systems that have
Multiple.
2 suns, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
You would
there's.
think so, I
I'm
mean-
pretty sure there's multiple. Like, I mean, if you saw what I saw out there, there is. You just look up, you see all these fucking stars.
suns.
Like,
But our concept of space and time is not like just because you can see a star as bright as day, it does not mean like that thing is so far away from
yeah,
you.
We can't even understand how.
You can't
far-
Yeah,
fathom
you
it.
don't. Yeah, you literally like it can go out and you won't know for years.
no, not years. You won't know. Like, you would have been dead for forever, and then
Billions,
you.
it's like billions of years until like light years until that shit gets to us. That it's so imagine all these
No mo.
constellations and shit that those shits have been dead for fucking thousands of. I mean, longer than that, and it's been thousands of years since those constellations, which to me is like the dumbest shit because it really doesn't make any fucking sense. Like some of
because
these
that's how
constellations-
light travels.
No, I'm talking about like how did you get a fucking lion out of this fucking cluster of stars? Like that shit doesn't make sense.
Well, when you don't have anything else going on in your society and you're just laying down, you
Oh,
start
that
to
looks
get
And it's
creative.
dark. There's no lights anywhere else. You just see this.
Like the Orion's belt thing, like I get in the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper.
Well,
like,
that yeah, but like a fucking walrus or some shit, whatever type of
A
shit they have,
walrus?
whatever the fuck animals they have up there. There's like a polar bear. It's like where is the polar bear?
I mean, there's again, if you go to a place like that, you can connect
Yeah.
enough dots where you can get a shape
We can't
out of that.
see, like, in reality. We go outside, we might see what? Maybe, if we're lucky, maybe like 50 stars that you can point out. Like, oh, there's 1, 2. Like, if you're counting like that.
I think you can see more because your eyes get adjusted when you start looking up there. Like you start seeing more and more stars.
I guess if we go to a pretty dark area. But when I went out there, I'm talking like you see hundreds, maybe thousands at one time. You're just
No,
like,
that's
holy
pretty
fuck.
fucking dope.
I've never
Yeah.
been to a place like
I
that.
do want to go see.
Yeah,
the
it's dark
fucking-
as fuck.
I
Like,
want to see the northern
you don't
lights.
see any fuck.
That
I
would
want
be-
to. That's a
that
side I
would
want
be
to see too.
fucking
I do
amazing.
want to go to Alaska where it's like dark as fuck, and
6
that's what
months,
you see.
right? Isn't it 6 months out of the year?
Something like that.
It's just
that,
dark.
that area of the.
Iceland's another one that they're fucking dark like a majority of the year too, or
And
it's light. Like
I want to go at least once in my life, to the place where the sun never sets, and a place that never has sun. There's 2 places
The
like
poles.
the pole.
that. I don't know if it's the poles, but I know
Isn't
there's.
there like a
there's
yeah,
actually-
there's like I've seen it. Like there's a graph of like the sun never actually hits. It's not the exact North Pole.
Yeah, it's
but
just up there.
It's up there, but it's
Yeah.
somewhere where the sun never hits. Like on because the Earth is on an
Yeah.
axis. It's not the globe like how you see it.
Wasn't there a movie about like vampires and fucking Alaska fucking shit up because of
Twilight.
no,
It's in Seattle.
It was in Washington.
no, it wasn't. It was it was like a standalone movie, but
Interview with a Vampire.
And it was
Brad Pitt
and it
and
was
Tom Cruise.
about that the sun only came out so often. That's why they
Yes,
chose that area.
Exactly. Yeah, you know what movie I'm talking
Twilight.
That is Twilight.
That's the whole point of
it's
Twilight.
Twilight. Look, I'm trying to,
No, we believe you.
I
We're
was
just fucking
saying-
with you.
I was just saying the point. Like, he
now I gotta
made
look
that
up the movie.
They turn into. They start to glitter.
they fucking become diamond skinned. That's how I want to say it. Skinned.
30 Days of Night. That's what it is.
Speaking of Pattinson,
Spooky.
That's
Yeah.
what about him?
he's Edward Cullen in Twilight.
Oh yeah, he's a fucking square.
I thought he won you back as Batman.
Somewhat, like not as bad.
He's a great
as
actor.
Batman, but Bruce Tenet, he did a good. I wish he would have played that type of fucking Bruce Wayne. A little bit more suave, a little bit more like,
But that's not what he was asked to do.
look at me, I'm the shit. I'm Bruce Wayne. Come fuck with
He
me.
could do that.
I know.
Oh,
He
give you like a
should've.
tenant version.
He should have
of-
been like,
Is that what
If
you're
he
saying?
was like what he was intended, like if that Bruce Wayne, like that would have been the perfect Batman.
yes, that's what I'm saying.
Because he is smooth as fuck as
Smooth
in
fucking
Tenet.
criminal, bro.
And I
With
feel
his
like-
fucking trench coat. And
When they do
shit.
the launch, when they get launched from the ground up into
Bro.
the top of the skyscraper.
That's why my thing is
Christopher
like
Nolan, man.
when it comes to Batman, like that's why Christian Bale will always be that guy because you might not think he played the best Batman, but he was a great Bruce Wayne. I
He's
thought he
probably-
played a
he's
fucking
probably, like,
phenomenal
Probably
Batman.
just fucking played himself.
He's probably like number 1 or number 2 in both categories, which is why he's.
Yeah, I thought he was. For me, he's number 1 in both. Like that's that guy. His Batman was crazy. The suit was crazy. The fucking Batmobile was crazy. Just everything was like.
The Batmobile.
Plus, he has one of the greatest. I think he has the greatest performance of a villain ever.
Not to sound.
Batman's been in space.
Not to sound like a broken record, but I think that comes back to more of the movie making. Like you're tricked into thinking.
Well,
Like, because there's only so
Could
many
be.
times a great actor can elevate a bad movie.
I agree.
Like Val Kilmer and George Clooney played Batman, but those Batman movies are fucking terrible.
Yeah, they
Val
are.
Kilmer and George Clooney are not bad actors.
That is true. It's George Clooney one that's the nipple Batman, right?
That's the nipple one, Mr. Freeze.
Ironic? I think not.
That's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Like, even as a kid, I was like, "This is a
This
chore."
fucking sucks.
This is a chore.
Dude, Arnold was Mr. Freeze.
It's just such a bad movie. Uma Thurman, like, there's so many good
Uma
actors.
Thurman is Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy, she's probably one of the baddest villains. She's sexy. That green fucking
in Batman
plant
lore.
chick. Yeah.
Black Cat, I think, is the best looking villain of any.
Them fucking
Superhero.
things is thangin'.
Yeah,
She's got him out for sure.
and she's cast in the new,
Oh yeah, you said that.
the new whatever the next Spider-Man movie. It's not Spider-Man. It's
Speederman.
something.
It's Speederman.
Sydney Sweeney, shout out to her.
Superman's from outer space too. He's from a different planet.
Krypton.
That shit blew up to smithereens.
Which, by the way, to give your guy some credit. All right, don't take it.
Listening, go ahead.
Man of Steel. I love Man of Steel. I think it's awesome.
It's a good movie.
That first 30 minutes is incredible with Russell Crowe. You ever seen it?
Russell Crowe, yeah. I have.
I think that's incredible. Like Russell Crowe, like risking his life for the sanctity of his child. Like,
As any good parent should.
bro, the fucking Superman's parents are Russell Crowe and why am I blanking? Like Kevin Costner. Like, pretty good parents.
Kevo.
Pretty cool dads.
Kevo. Yeah, but isn't Russell Crowe? Oh no, who's Ego in fucking Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh, why am I blanking on his name?
I still have the face right.
Escape from New York, Escape from L.A., The Thing, Guardians, Hateful
Ego.
Eight.
Ego. Right, that's his name.
Yeah, that's his name. Kurt Russell.
Kurt fucking Russell.
Wow. That took a while to get there.
He was a fucking asshole too. He was a player. Spreading his-
Spoilers, again.
Oh, but these movies are old. If you haven't seen them, if I've seen them, then fuck. Then you're really fucking up. But he's spreading his seed throughout the fucking galaxy, throughout the fucking universe.
And with that, we have UFOs somewhere.
His
Ties
kids
us
just
all back.
driving around.
To tie this all back.
Bro, and then his son goes to.
Am I the only one here who doesn't believe in like I believe in aliens. I do. I believe in intelligent life somewhere else. I don't know if intelligent life has come to Earth.
You don't know if there's an intelligent life that has surpassed our intelligence.
No, I believe there is. I just don't know if
to
it's
the
come.
point where they can come visit other planets, or they just not.
I
Coming
think
to
there
visit,
is.
or they just don't come and visit us.
I just don't. Again, space is pretty fucking big
Yeah.
and ever expanding. So the Earth is not the center of the universe. So if they're over here
Sure, but they could have
going to a billion different planets, and we're this grain of salt on like the other. Like think of it that way. Like
Yeah,
if you
but-
wanted to visit a grain of salt.
Yeah, but how many other planets have like? I mean, to our knowledge, have life that is as advanced as us?
Zero.
That so there you go. So I mean, if there was another,
That's to
advanced
our knowledge.
advanced
Yeah,
civilization
that's what I'm
that
saying.
like intelligence to our form that could travel. I mean, there's got to be some type of like we're giving off some type of radio waves or something like that. That
Right, but there is a billion trillion
Different versions of this.
an unlimited amount of Earth or intelligent species that reach beyond any direction you point to in space.
yeah.
So eventually, there is one that is smart enough to travel between a lot of planets, but I just don't know if they've reached our planet, and if so, we have been able to see them.
Guess that's
I
the
hope
question.
so.
That's the question.
Because I mean, think about it. What if they came here already and they were like, "Wow,
Yeah,
they
but
have
that's
Like
so-
years.
they're dumb as fuck.
They
Yeah, but
have
that's-
years until
I
they
feel
get
like
to.
that also kind of falls into the it can never happen to me mindset, and then when it does happen, so maybe it's like
I'm not saying it can't happen to me. I'm saying I don't know if we have like there's nothing that makes me think that we have seen intelligent life form from billions and billions of light years away come to our Earth and be like,
Well, there is one thing, actually, the pyramids.
the pyramids of
if
Giza.
you believe that, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just I don't necessarily believe or not believe it, but who knows?
I mean, there is this.
We weren't
They're the
around.
wonders of the world.
We weren't around then.
there was
and
this
it's just
like,
But a
how
pyramid,
crazy that shit is on the degrees and how close everything
it's
is.
insanely great. But that is a small.
It's like a 1% chance of that, but I'm
But
just
that is a small stepping stone in when you start talking about visiting other planets.
saying, very true. When it comes to
Like I give you a piece of paper and a ruler, you can draw a perfect square. Doesn't mean you can visit Mars. And that's kind of the leap that it would take for me to understand that we built the pyramids so we can go intergalactic to every other planet.
what if that was the thing though? What if it was built so perfectly that was like the point the sun hit a certain way and boom, you're anywhere.
I mean, that's like magic, though. That goes beyond space.
Who knows? We don't know. We think it's magic. To them, it's just normal time travel.
Yeah,
That's
the
true.
interstellar line.
They're like, what do you mean? What do you mean magic? I've been here like 4 times.
What you describe as magic, we describe as like
everyday normal.
like
shit,
they're not 3-dimensional, they're 5-dimensional in that movie.
bro. That's just too much for my little brain to comprehend.
But that's where I think of it. Like when I think of intelligent life, it's like no.
I'm not gonna lie. If I was ever trapped, if we were ever trapped in a rocket, that'd be a great experience. Us three
Oh my
going
God.
through a black hole, and Eric's just
But my fucking head would explode.
fucking
wouldn't-
freaking. the
All
fuck
of our
out.
heads would explode. It's a black hole.
Well, hopefully we're in some sort of like contraption. I want to say a rocket of some
We're
sort.
just gonna fucking
Some
launch
sort.
our bodies into fucking space.
'Cause we would be fucked.
I promise we'll get off this topic eventually. That is, in a movie, again, another Nolan movie, that is one of the scariest I've ever felt in a theater. Like, the movie is so action-packed and it's so awesome.
What movie?
It's Interstellar. And I think
Oh,
it's,
with
it's so beautiful with Matthew McConaughey.
yeah. So it is a beautiful movie.
I think it's incredibly well
If you don't cry at the end of that movie, you're not.
I just mean like how it looks.
I didn't cry.
You're fucking crazy.
I just love
Shed a thug tear.
I just love the movie. But
It's a
like
great movie.
the point where I was just like my blood went cold in the theater is when he realizes what he has to do. When he presses the eject button off the rocket. You've seen the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he is falling into like whatever that black hole darkness is, and there's no sound, and you just hear his breath like going over his face as he's falling into nothingness. I was like,
Shit is real. Shit is fucking real.
I literally was just like blood cold, like staring at the screen, like, please end this. Like, this is worse than any horror movie I've ever seen.
It is like a fucking chilling.
But they
Fear.
make it seem like beautiful, like he's doing and then, he sees the lights get bigger and it looks like a city, and then he realizes that time is a fifth dimension and Tars is talking to him. So they end it beautifully, but like in the moment, I was just like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all that shit, I mean, even the smartest people, it's past anyone on this planet's comprehension at this point. Like,
Yeah.
even the smartest people in the world, just like,
We look like idiots.
it's just like, there's just so much that we just
stupid.
haven't even, we can't reach. So if you can't reach it, or you can't get any like
We didn't come up with
information
the
on it-
concept of it until Stephen Hawking.
Yeah.
We couldn't even think of the concept of an expanding universe. Now you're going to tell me that we can travel to an expanding universe.
It's crazy.
People have done it. Not people, not us, but like other beings. I feel like there has to have been.
Maybe. I don't know if they've came to ground level and that we have witnessed them.
Yeah.
Is really where my UFO idea kind of like.
I feel like if it
they don't have the means of transportation that looks like how anything we can fathom, anything we can.
no, like
I think it's more like Men in Black, where they have the fucking marbles.
yeah, might be. I mean, I don't think it's, for instance, like like the old, or just in like cartoons, like old UFO style, where it's
Yes.
just a little glass thing. I don't think that's how it's gonna be. I don't for 1 second think it's gonna be like someone just looking through
Jetsons.
glass, like yeah, like fucking floating around in a little flying saucer. Like I do not think it's that.
But that's
that.
all the videos you always see. Like it's a light, and then and then it's gone. It's like,
I mean, it's in a circular shape, but it's like, I don't know. It's just one of those things. You see lights sometimes in like a triangle.
Have you ever seen Arrival?
A rifle?
Arrival.
Oh.
The alien movie. Terrifying.
Let's see, because it was what? How many in that post that you sent me? The UFO sightings, was it?
I think I saw somewhere. I don't know if you sent him this post.
UFO sighting reports by U.S. troops skyrockets to over 500.
500.
So, I mean, you kind of, you see that. You kind of take into consideration that, maybe these guys are at war. So, you kind of have to take that into a little bit. Their head might be fucked up a little bit. Whatever war does to your mental and your psyche and all that shit. But, I mean, the numbers keep on going up. Maybe it's people just making claims just for whatever reason. But at a certain point, there's got to be some truth to it. It can't be just 500 people just full of fucking shit.
No, I think 500 people saw something. UFO only stands for unidentified
flying.
I think 500 people saw something that they don't understand, or maybe close to it. Some of them might be lying.
Yeah.
But
It could be like you both are saying. It could be the 300 and the other one.
But I mean, if it's true,
they said this. Okay, yeah.
If it's
it could be drones. It could be military equipment. It could be anything.
Yeah, especially people in the military. I think it's more like, for instance, like the Area 51 stuff.
I mean, have you
more
seen that Bob
stuff coming
Lazar
up?
stuff? Any of that, like Bob Lazar documentaries or anything like that? Like, apparently he was a guy that worked for Area 51, and he worked he was a scientist that the U.S. government got to try and figure out what these unidentified or UFOs were and all this shit, and it was just shit that was beyond anyone's fucking comprehension that we have as a government, like UFOs, like things that we have that is not from this planet, that is just.
I would love to. The Roswell, New Mexico stuff, I mean, still doesn't.
Yeah, the Bob
doesn't
Lazar
make
stuff,
sense.
I think it's on Netflix. And he was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he's made his media run.
Is that the guy that Rogan asked about it, and he kind of deflects?
No,
I
he
think
was
it's the guy that
open.
goes more into it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
There's one guy I always see the clip where he's like, "You worked at Area 51, right?" And he's like, "I'm not. I can't confirm or deny if I."
Yeah, no, he's open about it.
Okay.
And they do a documentary on him on Netflix and shit like that. But I mean,
alien.
Yeah, I mean, at a
That
certain
guy?
point, I'm fucking ancient alien. It's got to be UFO. It's like, oh my god, with the big crazy fucking hair and shit. Oh man, see when it's guys like that talking, it's kind of like, oh man.
They ruin it for everybody else. Like bad conspiracy theories ruin good ones. Like,
but I don't know. Maybe it's just also like I'd like to believe that shit is like.
I want to be with you.
I mean,
I like to believe that shit. That is like we're right there. Like it is literally
On the cusp.
a matter of like when they want to fucking show themselves to
communicate.
us and fucking let us know that we're here.
I mean,
that's what I like to
imagination plays a big part in all this as well.
For sure.
And creativity. We have
Yeah.
movies. We
Yeah.
have movies that like literally the whole concept of them is that they are walking amongst you and you don't even know.
Yeah, Men in Black.
That's the entire point of the movie is.
I mean, I have seen some pretty fucking ugly people too that look like aliens, so it makes sense.
The best line in that movie.
Oh, shit.
The best line in that movie is the end of the first one where he's like, "Yeah, we got it." When he's picking up the tabloids to investigate alien sightings,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Yeah, we got to go to the Chicago Bulls." He's like, "Who?" And they're like, "Rodman." They're like, "It's not a great disguise."
Well, fucking Frank, the little dog. The little bug.
That's a great disguise for an alien.
The fucking it's in the second movie. Is it in the second one where he picks him up, starts fucking shaking him?
The
and
second
shit?
one.
It's
on Orion's belt.
Fucking weak. Oh man, good stuff. Good stuff. But also like
shaking a pug.
Yeah.
The scene is fucking. Just seeing Tommy Lee Jones shaking a pub, and then Will Smith's like,
everyone's just looking.
Will Smith, he owes him money. He owes my friend money.
But like, I also again to your point, like my dad worked for NASA. He's always had like an affinity for space, so like he put that on me on a young age. So like that opened my curiosity to that shit
It's incredible.
at a much younger age, and I'm just like I'm at a point where I just feel like it can't not be possible. Like it's just like to the point.
Oh,
where
yeah.
it's like with all the information that we have on how the universe is, like
It's expanding.
how is this?
It's infinite.
Yeah, this is. They're just. I cannot not believe that this is not
Now it's just a matter of time.
time.
Because we know space expands, but we don't know how time works with the space expansion.
How they work together in unison.
Yeah, we have
We're
not
still trying to.
we have not grasped the concept of a fourth dimension of
We're still trying to
how to
figure
see time as
a physical thing.
yeah. Like we can measure space and we can measure time, but we can't. We can measure space in area. We can't measure time in area.
Bro, that shit is fucking
unfathomable.
That's why the movie is so fucking good. Like, cause he tried to fucking show you like how maybe.
Bro, let's just go out to space. Fuck it.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's some.
we've
volunteer
gone to the
programs.
moon in 1969 and haven't.
We went to the moon
In 1969,
Good old
not
even.
1970, but 1 year sooner.
Good old Even Stevens movie.
Yeah.
That was the shit. But
But we haven't gone to Mars, and that's really where it's like, I would love to think we're fucking right there,
yeah, but different.
but we can't get to the fucking next planet.
Different atmospheres. People are pretty sensitive as far as like the type of environment that they need to survive and thrive in and shit like that. So I get that because the moon is just it's not really much to it as far as like.
Well, there's not an atmosphere.
Exactly. So you're just kind of.
It's a rock.
But
What movie was
but Mars is
more recent?
It's a planet.
Where the moon is a shallow fucking.
you fucking
Shallow
reading
shell.
my mind.
The Nolan Emmerich movie.
Who's the star in that movie? I don't know why I'm
Sam
blanking.
from Game of Thrones.
Samuel.
He's the way.
Sam
Yeah.
Tarly is the.
Oh,
he's
shit.
the
He's the hero at the end, but who's the actor?
Is that Halle Berry in someone else?
Halle Berry is in it as well. It's what else is that guy in? I cannot think of his name right now.
You know what other movie is pretty good? Fucking Look Up, the one with
Don't Look Up.
Don't Look Up, bro. That movie.
It's
was
more of a political movie,
fucking
but
phenomenal though. It was pretty damn good.
takes a shit on some of your leaders. Or your
But it does
Moonfall.
Make,
is,
it makes,
Moonfall. That was a good fucking movie.
no, it wasn't. But
I mean, for like what we're talking about, it was a good movie.
no,
Like,
I don't mean to shit on it's just not like. It's a good space movie. If you just want a popcorn movie to watch space,
yeah,
like Gravity,
it's
it
one of
looks
those.
cool.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's not like
The same director made Independence Day, which I think is a vastly more superior fucking movie.
Then Moonfall.
Yeah, Independence Day is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Really?
Yeah, I love that movie. It's also one of the earlier movies I remember watching over and over. We had it at the house.
But when the alien fucking controls that crazy haired guy, when they
Area 51.
yeah, they're dissecting him and he fucking raps his name. He's talking to the guy.
What's the line he says?
scared the shit
He's
out of me.
like, "Release me."
Bro.
Love that movie.
That movie kind of gave. I'm not gonna lie. That movie kind of scared me a little bit.
I mean, as a kid, it came out
Yeah,
we
I
were
was
1 or 2.
Holy shit!
Was it 94, 96? One of those two.
Yeah, that shit was a little creepy, a little spooky to me. But I've grown up now.
doesn't scare you as much.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
We never got to.
He's
who
a growing boy.
Who that actor was? Let me find him real quick.
Just because I couldn't think of his name. He's in a bunch of shit though.
Patrick Wilson.
Patrick Willis,
Patrick Wilson, from the Conjuring movies, Insidious movies.
the guy, the main guy.
The main guy.
He really did make a living out of just being in those movies of possession and shit, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he was Phantom of the Opera. He was big in
Mhm.
that. He's he's not the Phantom, but he's the
Yeah,
other guy.
Oh shit, he is.
Yeah.
See, he's always around.
Gerard Butler is
He's
the
always
Phantom.
fucking around. Just
Damn.
He's always around ghosts. Phantom of the Opera.
Always fucking around.
that movie too. He's the first one in Moonfall. Not to spoil you short.
He's the first one that dies.
Well,
I haven't seen it.
oh no, he doesn't. He doesn't die first in that movie.
Does he die second?
He doesn't even die in that
Oh.
movie. But it's just watch the movie. I mean, it's not like
Probably won't, but
I'll watch it.
it's pretty good.
I'll watch it.
I think you would enjoy it. It's not like it's not like oh my
It's
god.
not groundbreaking
Yeah.
filmmaking.
But it's if you have nothing else to do and you just happen to scroll by it, it's a good little watch.
Yeah, I'll give it a watch. I don't want to shit on a movie I haven't seen, but everyone I trust with their movie opinions was like, it's a Nolan Emmerich movie.
it is a movie.
Which, if you like,
it's
his
an
movies-
interesting concept, I should say. It's like
Yeah, I've heard the concept.
The
is
movie
pretty
itself is like like you're saying, it's just like a movie, but the concept you're like, oh wow, I'd never really thought of it that
cool. Yeah,
way.
space movies have a good
Once you see like what it's saying as the concept, you'd be like, holy fuck.
Yeah,
I wonder if that could
I
be-
do know that got spoiled for me. I do know what you're.
Yeah,
talking
it's
about.
like holy fuck, could that be a thing? But like the way they do it, I feel like you would enjoy.
Yeah.
So yeah, good little watch.
All right.
If anyone hasn't seen Moonfall,
Mainful.
there you go. UFC.
Last topic?
Let's get into some UFC talk real quick, just because they had.
Let's address the thing first before we.
Fine. So the UFC's president Dana White was involved in a domestic violence. When was this? New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve
party, New Year's Day party, whatever.
Video surfaced where him and his wife get into a physical altercation. His wife hits him, and as every man should never do, he hits his wife back.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the only thing the video sees. Cuts out after that. Doesn't really show much before. You don't know how long they were arguing. You don't know anything else about it. That's just the context in the video. It's a good 10, 15-second clip. Dana is seen talking to his wife. His wife hits him. He looks at her, hits her right back.
Yeah. So a lot of everyone, becomes a commentator on this type of stuff, which, whatever. But people were like, I think it was more surprising that he brought his wife out in public. And I thought that was a pretty big low blow. Because they're not a public, they're not like an out there couple and stuff like that. But to say you're more surprised that he was seen with his wife than he was for beating his wife is fucking
fucked up.
That's a tough accusation to kind of throw on somebody.
Because they've been together, I think it's like 27 years. Him and his wife have been together.
Yeah.
Long fucking time.
Yeah, the old adage of if you can do that in public, imagine what you do in private. Am I shocked? No. Am I disappointed? Yeah.
Yeah,
I like Dana as a personality sometimes. I think he
says funny stuff.
Yeah,
Gets the job
but
done.
I was never I never looked at him as this fucking
beacon of light.
Yeah, this compass to follow
morality.
The right, yeah. Am I surprised that the fucking president of the UFC might have a domestic violence issue?
Or the also president or co-founder of a slap competition?
Yeah,
boom. Great promotion.
He's into combat sports. Am I shocked that he's got some pent-up aggression? No.
Oh man.
But I'm also not the police or the moral police.
Yeah, well, he came out and said, nobody should be defending me. I fucked up.
I do think he addressed it very well.
He said all the right things.
Didn't he say, there's no defense for putting your hands on
a woman? He basically straight up was like,
and he said, any fighter that's defending me or anybody that's defending me, don't. This is no reason to, come to my defense, this, that, whatever. I fucked up. And, he came straight out and his wife came out and said that, this was an isolated incident.
Yeah, let's hope that's true.
Yeah, and again, we
don't know.
We don't. You take it for what it is, and we don't know exactly. Like you said, the only thing we see is a little 15-second clip.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know any dialogue and neither one of them really gave much into what happened, what digressed throughout this conversation, what led up to it. It's just oh, this happened, and I like the way he came out and basically was more on talking about what it is personally versus his personal life versus business life. He was talking because people are oh, what do you think what a punishment would be? He was like, what do you think a punishment should be? I have to deal with this in my personal life. There's nothing really in my professional life that matters versus this right now. He's like, what are you going to do, suspend me? He's like, I wanted to walk away from this. So that's fine. That doesn't take from the fact that I still have to deal with that.
Yeah, it's a great, a weird, terrible area where it's where do... not cancel culture, so to speak, but where to people who want to see
justice,
and stuff like that. Well, it's not a legal matter. It's not going to be a legal matter. And it's more it is more of a personal issue, but personal issues shouldn't be something it shouldn't be an automatic removal of. Well, they're allowed to keep their professional thing and just punish them personally, some people do, unfortunately need to have things.
Especially when you're a public figure, too.
Yes.
It makes it that much more difficult to, just
handle
your
I'm not
personal
saying
stuff.
What the right call is there. I'm just saying, if there is a, the Weinstein situation, obviously there's legal action there. So that goes. But if there wasn't, if we just knew all of this stuff, you still would probably see that they would lose a lot
I mean, kind of more like like the Louis stuff is more kind of along those lines where there's not really much legal action. It's just like he was doing something that was kind of off-putting to some people, and but what I mean, it's more of like a morality thing that it's like, there's no morality police. Like you can't go and fucking punish him for what he was doing. Like he's gonna get public shame for it, and things like that.
But people do punish that. Like he did lose like shows. Yeah, and he lost money.
Yeah, that's where you're gonna get the punishment, the public shame and shit like that. That's where you lose out. But like
you're not gonna
in the eyes of the law, like. Yeah, I was beating my dick on the phone. Like, how am I gonna get in trouble for that? Like,
I mean, maybe like a basic sexual assault charge, but I mean,
if that though, like
sexual harassment more.
That would probably fall along more the lines of that.
But I'm not a police. I don't know.
But I mean, that's what I'm like. The Dana White thing kind of falls more in that line. Obviously, domestic violence is a little, bigger of an issue than what Louis C.K. was doing. But again, to your point, like what
there's no
legal action. There was no police involvement or anything like that. So
she's not pressing charges.
Like what you're just gonna be mad to be mad, and that's again you bash his name. He might.
And you, if you're somebody who looks at that video and you're disgusted and you're mad, you have every right to be.
Of course.
But it's up on you on when you want to forgive that person or never forgive that person.
This kind of goes back into the same like we were talking about last week with Chris Brown.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where it is wrong. We all agree.
That's always going to be attached.
This is wrong, but it's something that is attached to you personally, and even Dana White said it as well. Like this is something that I have to deal with forever. This isn't like am I supposed to be? He even says, "What am I supposed to be fined?" You act like I don't have money. That's not the issue here. He was basically like,
that would be a dumb thing.
Yeah, like
if ESPN or UFC came out and was like, "We're fining him $1 million."
Yeah. Like money,
okay.
Does that pay for?
Correct. That basically is making it worse. Saying, okay, you could just pay your debts. Like you're wrong, you could pay it off, and boom, you're good in the eyes of whoever said you were wrong. But that's like more. It goes. I feel like it falls in line more of the like morality police.
No, yeah, for sure.
I only have to deal with this issue of Dana White. Domestic violence situation with his wife when I think of Dana White or when I see Dana White or when I watch a UFC event. Dana White has to think about that
every day, all day, every day,
for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And that's where, like, some people are lack of conscience and some people are very much okay with being monsters. He doesn't seem like the type of person who's gonna fucking.
Yeah, I don't think he does things maliciously or like. I feel like
it clearly showed. Maybe it was just a PR move, but it clearly showed that at least like he didn't say like it didn't happen.
Yeah.
He didn't be like this is no big deal.
Or he didn't try to say like he was in the right or like but she hit me. He didn't try to do any of that shit. He wasn't trying to cover his ass. He was like, listen, this happened.
He handled it the best way you possibly could, and as unfortunate as it is for some people to hear.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, just being honest, like, people have a breaking point. I'm sure there was alcohol involved at some point in that night too. So you have to, kind of take into consideration like everything that's gone on. And again, it's not excusing what he did or anything, but like at the end of the day, we're all fucking people. People are gonna fuck up, and that was just a major fuck up that was caught on camera. He's a public figure, like that. Just everything that builds up in that situation is leads to this. Yeah. So I mean,
and it's fucked up to say, but in reality, if he wasn't a public figure, this video would never surface. This would be a normal fucking.
There would be no cameras on him.
Correct.
If he was a normal.
It'd be a fucked up situation that happens.
And there's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, and there's no public shame in that either. It's just a dude. If it's not Dana White, it's just a dude that hit a chick and then
while they were drunk, like it's wrong.
No one else thinks.
No one else knows this. No one else sees it.
More about it. No one fucking.
And that's more of the issue that we deal with.
Correct.
Than we do with celebrities.
Yeah, like if a celebrity does it, they try to, for instance. They did the same thing with Chris Brown thing. They try to make examples out of them.
Yeah, they try to crucify the person.
They try to make it the worst thing in the world.
I think some of the reason people try and make examples of these people is because these are the people that we push up to be examples for in positive ways. So when they fuck up, people the domestic violence is an issue in this country, in the world. So when there's somebody public that has that happen to them, the person that we've pointed to and being like, this person's awesome. Look at this person's gifts. Look at this person's talents.
We gave you the fame, the money.
And then they do that. You hold them to a higher kind of level of standard than everybody else because because of that.
Because people put this perception in your head that like if you
Fame equals good.
Yeah, if you're at a certain status, if you have money, if you're famous, you must be a great person. You must. When it's like no, that's just not the case.
Which if you've ever had encounters with famous people, a lot of them are not fucking the nicest
like,
people.
Or you just see how they got there. For instance, a lot of famous people, I'm not saying all of them, were the lowest of the low, stepping on people their whole way up. You know, like they did what they had to do to make it.
Yeah.
And it's not, you know, it's more on morality than
because
legal,
and I also
but
feel like, you know, people who are doing shit for fame is a different, like, if you just have a natural talent and people boost you up based on your talent, that's one thing. But if you have a you know, you're a pretty talented person, but like you have to do the extra stuff to get to where you want to get to and the level you want to get to, that's where people start, you know, well, what am I willing to do, or what am I willing to sacrifice to? I know I have the ability, but I need an extra push to get to where I want to get to. Who am I going to fuck over? Who am I going to step on? Like, what dirty shit am I going to do to get to that point? Or am I just going to be satisfied where this is where my talent has taken me? It's a pretty good life. You know, and I'm just content here. Most people, you know, if they have that opportunity in front of them and they're on the cusp of, you know, maybe boosting their legacy or this, that, whatever reason, then, you know, they might, if they think they can get away with it, do some foul shit and, oh, but look at me, like, and you let the PR people handle your image and shit.
Yep.
And that's just the
There's
fucking,
a lot of disgusting people out there.
That's just the fucking reality of entertainment and being famous and politicking and shit like that.
And when you're famous, you get the battery in your back that you can always get away with this kind of stuff.
Yep. Until you fucking can't.
completely off topic, but Elvis had to go through similar situations. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, a lot of celebrities.
We watched Elvis. This is a decent point. We watched Elvis where there's a point near the end of the film where they're like kind of ragging on him a bit. They're joking about his waistline. Mm-hmm. He had put on some pounds, been on, you know, substances, stuff like that. And they're like,
drugs.
There's like over a radio, some girls like kind of commenting on him, and they make a joke about his waistline. And Jacob goes, "Damn, even Elvis was getting it. They're fucking ruthless." And I was like, he was kind of like the first celebrity to kind of go through that. Like,
he was the first poster child.
Like, he was the first person that we propped up to the fucking moon and then
start tearing them,
beat him up as we fucking...
As he fell. As
but
he descended from the...
That's the price of fame. People...
He didn't know that, though.
Yeah, well, because that's the first one. But people give you the fame, and then once people, the masses, are over it, then...
More money, more problems.
Since we've given you the fame, we feel entitled that we can now take it away, pick at you, bash on you, do this, when it's like... You know, maybe, is that right? Probably not. You know, do you? And that's where, again, that's where a lot of the gray area is.
Yeah.
It's that we give people these platforms, but then once they fuck up and we don't see, like, we see that they are human just like us. They just happen to be extremely talented in one area. Then we feel the need to fucking, oh, now let us bring you back down to earth and be the fucking righteous people. And it's like, come on now. Like,
yeah.
That's why I say, and again, I've said this before, like, putting people and celebrities and athletes and singers on pedestals has always been an odd thing to me. Like, the way that people, like, will idolize someone just because they're really good at throwing a football or they can hit notes that most people can, or it's always been like a
it's the relatability factor, though. Like, with artists more, like, we look at the art that they make and draw conclusions of who they are as a person. Like, oh, they felt they made this, so they must have been feeling this, and I felt this, and this song makes me feel this, so you have a connectivity to these people. You feel like there's a common thread, which is why people idolize these people. Like, oh, you have all these ideas and these emotions that I have, and you can create this with it. You know, with athletes, it's more of like the suspension of one disbelief. Like, when you fall in love with a player, it's more of like it's everything that surrounds that player. You know, it's you looking up their interviews and their stuff like that and who they are as a person, more than just their skill. I think nowadays, back in the day, like, somebody could just be really talented and you were a big fan of them.
Well, it's always going to be the skill gets you, but then it's
like the Michael Jordan thing. Like, people like Michael Jordan because he was really good at basketball, and then what elevates Mike, other than being really good, is the cool factor, the sneakers, the, like, everything around Mike, the aura around Mike made him special. With LeBron, it's, you know, it's the family man thing. It's always, you know, it's the having the hype up to the nines and then delivering. You know, it's that there's that it factor with all of these guys that makes people like so fanatic over them. With athletes, the word fanatic, like that's what fan means is fanatic. Yeah. It's an animalistic. We just want to root for a common team with a jersey like name on the front. So when we're all rooting for something, it becomes this very like
it's a group, it's a family type.
It's
setting.
War. It's like animalistic. It's like cult-like, where you're rooting for your group of people, and everyone who's not in this room, fuck them.
Us against the world type shit.
Yeah.
And to your point, also, as a person, you feel like personal connection to athletes as well. Being anyone that plays a sport, you idolize someone who you know
what it takes to hit one jump shot.
Well, you know what it is. Yeah, you know what it is. Like, for instance, like you said, to hit a jump shot, or you do these actions, and you're like, this person, I am here. This person could do it at this level, and you're amazed by like, that's incredible. Like, how can someone be that good?
And the more you play sports, the more you're just like,
you're amazed by it.
Yeah, if you're not delusional. Like, some people are like, if I was 6'8", I'd be LeBron. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, so many things like he had to work on and get lucky. Correct. And like, everything that goes into what he is not something that you just, oh, if I was tall, I'd do it. No. The fucking half the NBA is fucking 6'8".
No, it's still the best of the best. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't be someone who said that exact thing.
But you could be.
I wouldn't compare myself. I wouldn't compare myself to LeBron.
It's
but
normal to be like I would be better if I was taller.
If I was 6'8", yes, that I do say all the time. I was like, if I was 6'8", my game and my packages would become completely different.
Yeah,
jelly and fucking yamming. What? If I had my jumping ability just grew to 6'8", I don't want to say it, but I'm gonna say it. I'd be in the fucking league. Like what? 6'8".
There's more that goes into the league than dunking.
I know, but I got that fucking. I could shoot. I could dribble. I could pass. I could do it all.
Is filled with a lot of guys who aren't really in the league.
Could do it all. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not saying I'd be an all-star out here, but I'd ride the bench. I don't give a fuck.
Right, but some people think that they would. Some people are like, you give me that height and I'd be the fucking man.
Nah, I don't honestly like. I don't have that delusion where I feel like I'd be fucking to the Kyrie, to the fucking maybe to the fucking LeBron, all their fucking like that level of players.
Circling back real quick, I think that's why people have the fanaticism they have over Curry and Kyrie is because they feel like more normal.
Smaller in the NBA.
Yeah, and then you meet them and you're like, oh, you're 6'3".
Steph Curry, 6'4".
I mean, but that's for instance why so many people were drawn to like the Isaiah
Thomas, Reggie Miller,
or
AI.
AI was like the one that's like everyone was like, oh, this little guy.
Yeah, AI is like the realistic. Like if you were super talented and you had a work ethic, like it could work.
Yeah. Because AI barely 6 foot, fucking maybe 6'1".
No, not 6 foot. Have you ever seen him in person?
Well, I mean, he could have shrunk. Happens in older age.
But he's probably pushing like 5'10". Maybe.
Yeah, like everyone who's in the league says they list him at 6.
They have him at 6'1", I'm pretty sure.
They list him at that, and then
yeah, but the NBA until recently, I think it was in like 2019 or 2018, like that they relisted or they remeasured everyone and gave them their true height.
You could just put it on a piece of paper.
Yeah, and you saw people losing 2 inches.
Yeah,
people that were 7 feet tall are now 6'10".
47, 6 foot tall.
KD and LeBron didn't have to do it.
No, but they also didn't. They didn't have to do it.
They didn't have to do it. They didn't have to resubmit. KD will never resubmit his height.
What is he? He's at
6'11"
right now.
He doesn't like the idea of being a 7-footer.
Why?
Something he's always pushed back on. Apparently, like he's like when people are like, "You're 7'1", he's like, "Shut the fuck up." Like 6'11". I don't get it.
I don't either. Fuck it. Give me a couple extra inches. I don't give a fuck.
But he's just. I think he just. I don't know if it comes.
He's got a guard's mentality.
I think I don't know if it's from AAU days and people trying to stick him in the paint. Or
maybe.
Could be. He'd probably be like. Couldn't be a small forward. You'd be a power forward.
Like
or
if the thing came out that like he was 7'1" and they were like, let's small ball 5 him, like he would be like, fuck you.
Yeah, maybe. But no, I mean he's at the.
Dude, that's AD.
Yeah, he can do whatever he wants. Yeah. Like AD, you think could, but they still small ball 5 him.
Yeah, well, because
he's so fucking good. Like he literally could be like one of the best 5 players if he just dedicated to being a small ball 5 and stayed healthy.
Yeah. Well, you know. He starts doing too fucking much, trying to play on the perimeter, working muscles that he doesn't fucking.
Jokic though, Embiid, that's just where the league is.
Yeah, but
It's just talent, and I mean,
Jokic has a different skill set that allows him to do that more at a
He's a better passer.
at a higher clip than AD. Like AD needs to keep his ass closer to. I'm not saying don't shoot the three, don't step out occasionally, but like that is your bread and butter. That's where you're going to fucking cause the most damage. Stick your ass in the fucking paint.
mid range
and
to.
fucking-
You're the mismatch.
Yeah.
Like your ability to lean on people, fade away, and hit that jumper is what makes you like special.
Yeah,
but in his
Jokic-
mind, he's always the guard.
Jokic can
Remember, he wasn't
came up-
6'11".
Yeah, he came up as in high school. He was a guard, but Jokic he has the skill set of a point guard. He just happens to be fucking 7 feet tall, but he makes it work in his body.
I think Embiid might be like the fucking when it comes
Which
to
he
just
is
pure.
he is balling, but the
When it comes to
76ers
pure
He's
talent,
special right now.
Yeah,
when it
but-
comes to pure talent,
He might be one of the most talented players we've ever seen.
someone didn't play basketball until fucking what was he like
but
18?
the Sixers just can't fucking get it together.
Yeah, I'm not worried though.
Did you say that
The East though, like I'm just saying, like to getting into the playoffs and being where we want to be.
Yeah.
And then once we're in the playoffs, like Embiid's the best player on the planet. So best player on the planet usually wins a couple series.
Best player on the planet,
He's the best player on the planet right now. He's balling.
better than Luka.
I'd say Luka.
better than
Giannis, but it's those three.
Yeah, I'd say.
Jokic.
And you got to throw, for instance, just the.
Who'd you say? Jokic, but they're on the other side.
Well,
Luka and Jokic are on the
yeah.
other side.
For instance, if we take out the West, if we're just talking about the four East fucking crazy All Stars that they were about to have, if KD didn't get hurt, KD's fucking balling.
Yeah,
Jason Tatum,
Yeah.
Embiid, Giannis.
but I would say Embiid's more talented than Tatum. I think Embiid's a better, not a polished basketball player, but Embiid's the better like.
Well, I just feel he's
All
a little bit more
around?
physically- Yeah, I was about to say more
He's
physically imposing.
he's the most physically imposing. I mean, Giannis is up there because Giannis
I think
plays.
it's Giannis and Embiid are the two. best
Giannis
players in the
plays. Giannis plays a lot bigger than he is, like physically. Like, Giannis is a big fucking dude. Don't
Yeah,
get
but
me
he's
wrong.
only 6'10". He's not what people think he is.
Well, it's not the height. I'm talking about just the mass.
Like the-
Embiid is a fucking.
He's a thick dude.
That is a fucking
7'1",
fridge.
300 pounds.
Like that is a brick wall coming at you. Like
Yeah.
that's basically. I look at Embiid and I compare him to Shaq. Like you just see that.
I mean, body type. That's really the only person you can
you just
compare him
you
to.
just see Shaq
That's
just
why-
more fluid.
That's why their battles are so fun to watch. To watch Embiid and Giannis.
Yeah,
go
them
at it.
banging down there. It's just like what the. It's
Because
crazy.
it's a styles clash. Because they're kind of similar with ball handling bigs, but they're not. Like
I mean, Joel Embiid is a little bit more. He could,
Finesse.
yeah, he could go outside a little bit more and be more effective.
He's more touch.
Yeah, which is
Which is
surprising
weird 'cause he's bigger.
Yeah, which is like, oh shit, all right, but yeah, and Giannis is more of like I'm putting my head down and fucking putting my shoulder in your chest and fucking.
whereas if like I know everyone makes this joke, like if you just threw him into the low post, if you just threw Embiid in the low post and he just two shoulders turn around and dunk, like even Giannis as big as he is not standing in
oh
front
yeah,
of it.
no, I mean,
But that's
Prime
what that's
Shaq
how.
might be the only person that's standing in front of
Yeah,
that.
Giannis is. He's someone that does do that.
Ben
though.
Wallace.
That's his play.
Ben Wallace might get his ass thrown in the paint.
ooh, I don't know.
Under
Ben Wallace,
under the bucket.
Ben Wallace was a fucking
4-time defensive player. of the
Yeah,
year.
he was a fucking.
He was something
monster.
to deal with, but even Shaq got banned a couple times.
Yeah.
Like Ben Wallace
Not
was a
in the
fucking.
finals.
Yeah.
But
He was
not
a
when it mattered.
he was a force to reckon with, but
Dwight, maybe he was a big
Prime
dude.
Dwight. I think Prime Dwight's more closer to Prime Giannis. Like
As far as
physically,
athletic, yeah, I mean, he was fucking athletic as shit, jumping through the fucking gym.
because Dwight played as
if Dwight grew
Dwight
up,
would have been, for instance, like a play style of a Giannis or even in like an
he would have
AD,
changed the league.
he would have been like that poster child to fucking ascend the league into that.
He would have changed the league.
But he was still playing as like
Yeah,
a
I mean,
big
he
dominant
was
big.
He's the last,
doesn't know.
He was the last big man, like dominant big man, like back to the basket big man before that
DeAndre
transition.
Jordan a little bit.
No,
I mean, I'm not gonna say
I
nah.
don't think he was. In
That was pure off Lob City.
They played the same type of style of basketball, but
Yeah,
Dwight
it
Howard
wasn't
was
the
a little
same.
bit more polished.
Dwight Howard
He
was
could do
the
No,
more.
it was
Yeah, he could
the
do
offense
more.
ran through Dwight.
Yeah.
It wasn't DeAndre Jordan was like you throw it up.
It was
to him.
throw it in the paint when the double comes, pass it out.
Yeah. No, it wasn't even the majority of his baskets were scored. Lob it to him. That is it.
No, I'm saying Dwight.
Oh, Dwight, yeah, was just throw it and get the fuck out of the way. He'll
Watching
figure
his,
something out.
I was watching his highlights though back in Orlando. Like he was a fucking.
He was a menace.
He doesn't.
We didn't appreciate what
He
we
gets
had.
He's underrated for sure. He gets shit on.
I
a
like
lot.
that he like almost the snub of the 75 has like repowered people to be like no, like he's one of the fucking 75. Like it
fact
almost
that
like
they
he
put-
needed to get slighted for people to be like.
I
Shut the
think
fuck
it's
up.
fucked up that they put Anthony Davis over him though. Like that shit was fucking.
It was recency bias. He had just won the chip, and if you were projecting Anthony Davis had him.
The trajectory of Anthony Davis's career. He might, if he's lucky, get another one.
After the finals, though, people thought that's like, okay, here's LeBron.
He's
going
the
to
guy
pass
now.
the torch
Yep.
now. Like, this is going to be AD's team. He's going to rip off a couple MVPs, maybe another title. Like, he's going to – and it just didn't work out like that. But even to me, like, the 75 list shouldn't be a projection list.
It shouldn't have been. But I think he was in a weird area where it was tough to keep him off because, like, imagine, like – in 10 years how that's looked. Like, you saw what this guy – like, let's say Anthony Davis had stayed on that projection, what we thought he was going to be. If you had, like, 10 years later been like, all right, who's on the 75 list? Well, they didn't put AD. Well, was he, like, a rookie, second-year guy? Like, no, he'd been in the league 9 years. He had finished top 5 in MVP. He had just won a chip. Why didn't you put him on the list?
Because Dwight Howard is a fucking 3-time defensive NBA.
I agree with you. I'm just saying, like, it was a tough – ask of people to
I don't know.
I don't think it was tough at all. I think it was clear.
If it was just like if it was
just those two,
I think it was a very clear. Like,
but it wasn't just those two.
Correct. That's my issue. If it was just those two and it was like one or the other, and people are like, "Well, Anthony Davis is really good," and they picked him, I'm still not agreeing with it. But that's one thing. But when you look at the whole top 75, the people they picked, it's like
no offense to the guys from the 40s and 50s. Like they meant a lot to basketball.
But even then, like I would put Dwight Howard over Patrick Ewing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even, like, and I'm not saying that it's not you can't make an argument, but in my eyes, like, and I might be a little biased, I'll admit that, but I think Dwight Howard was a better overall player, and I think it's pretty obvious. Like, it might not be.
Patrick Ewing went to a finals, and then he was injured on the Knicks team that went to the finals without him.
Yeah, and I'm not saying like it's a wide margin, but I do think it is clear that Dwight Howard is better.
He was
than
not
Patrick
a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. He was not a all-time.
Wasn't
blocks.
a slam dunk champion.
He wasn't an all-time blocks guy. Like he doesn't have those marks that we look to.
The Admiral is. I mean, I feel like that's a little bit more of a conversation.
The Admiral is fucking good.
That's what I'm saying.
He's a top 75 player.
But I feel like if he is, then I think Dwight Howard is as well.
Yeah, they're almost on the same level.
So I mean, like
Jokic didn't make it, right?
No.
Giannis didn't make it, or Giannis did make it?
I think he did.
Yeah, he was an MVP. He made it. Every MVP made it except
every MVP. NBA.
I think every MVP made it.
Top 75.
We'll wait. We'll get the 100th
The
list.
official.
No, I'm just saying that when it gets to the 100.
Oh, when they do this again.
Yeah, Giannis is in there. Kareem, Ray Allen, Giannis, Nate Archibald.
Yeah, again. Like, what are we doing? No offense to those guys. Like, great for basketball.
Billy Cunningham.
But my thing with the top 75 is what are they going off of? Are they going off of
what you meant to
points?
basketball?
What you meant, like your likability? What are they going off of? Because if it's straight, for instance, points or rebounds or assists, something that's like physically, like you could see stats, not stat padding, just physical stats that you see. Where do they get this list from?
And they have, and I love Damian Lillard, and they have him over Dwight Howard.
Dame is not a top.
Dame is not.
I
love.
No
Damian.
offense to
I have
Dame.
a fucking Damian jersey. Like I'm not putting him in the top 75.
Not yet, and maybe not.
He
yet.
hasn't done enough. Like
he's made a couple conference finals.
He has not done enough.
Like Dwight took a team to the NBA Finals and was second in MVP and was a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year.
And
led the league in rebounds
and
like
at
5,
the end of the
6
day,
years.
And blocks.
And
dunks.
When it comes to like the final thing for him,
first overall pick,
he does have finally got his championship ring, so he could at least retire.
Has a ring. So I mean,
he could at least retire a champion. He's not like a Charles, but
Yeah, but Charles was
Chuck's a better player.
He was just fucking.
Yeah,
he was
I'm just
nice
saying,
as shit.
Just saying.
Chuck won an MVP in Jordan's era, and it was deserved.
Yeah, I'm looking at. I don't know. Maybe, and again, just some of these.
You will hear no Chuck slander from this podcast.
Nah.
We all appreciate what Chuck was as a player.
Charles Barkley was that guy.
Sir Charles was the man.
Yeah, Karl Malone.
You got to.
Have to.
I'm saying, but like, is Dwight Howard? I feel like that's a conversation between him and.
I think Karl's better.
Karl Malone's offensive game, man. He's like 4th in points or 3rd in points.
3rd.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But I mean, my point though is like there's certain players that you have a shoe-in as a top 75 player that I feel like if you put their resumes with Dwight Howard's, they're pretty like
the AD one. It's really the modern guys. Like I think Clay made it.
Yeah, he did.
Like
I don't think he should have made it.
Like what are we talking about?
Yeah, I mean, he does have. What does he have? 4 rings.
He did now.
Okay,
not
but-
when the list was made. He had 3 rings, and he was never the best player on any of those teams.
No, never the best.
And he was the second best player on one of them.
The first one.
And you could argue Draymond was more
Did he
important.
make the list?
Yeah, yes, and he had to. Draymond's way more important to that dynasty than Clay.
Way more?
Yes.
Way more.
Yes. To the dynasty, Draymond did way more in the 4th ring, and Draymond was more important in the 2nd and 3rd ring. With getting KD, with before it blew up with their relationship, KD's kind of a loner, and they don't really he wasn't cool with all of them, and Draymond was the bridge, and he's a fucking dude you need in a locker room. He's the fucking guy.
The Bridge to Terabithia.
Great movie.
Draymond is an underrated
Sad movie.
fucking.
Cried for that too.
He is, but he's also a fucking punk.
Yeah, I'm not.
That's fair.
So this
He's an asshole.
This,
He's a
this
fucking-
podcast
he
will
is
have
under-
some Draymond slander though.
He is underrated.
I have not personally ever liked Draymond. In more recent years, when I see him more on podcasts and more of his
He's a funny guy.
I still
He
wouldn't want to
gives
give
good
him that.
insight. He gives good insight.
But
He's
he is a knowledgeable player.
Yeah.
He knows basketball. I'm not going to say he's fucking. He definitely knows the game of basketball very well.
Yeah.
But
You could never take that from him.
yeah, but
You don't get
I
to the
just
position
don't-
he is at.
yeah, no, not to the position. Not what I mean. People could say offensively he's trash, but he's not. He plays a role too.
He was the point forward. He was the decision maker with the ball in his hands for those.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, Steph. Steph is a point guard. Didn't even have the ball. He's coming off
Talking about
screens.
that,
It was all
underrated.
movement and Draymond reading the plays.
Hito Turkoglu, very underrated.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have made the top 75 by any stretch of it, but he is very,
Is he
very
top
underrated.
75?
No.
No. He
Oh, okay. I was about to be like, what the fuck?
No, that would have been.
No. Yes.
What
But
the
Hito was that guy. Hito was that guy.
He was one. He is another one. Kind of one of the first point forward type guys that
Huh?
he could shoot the 3. He was running the offense. Bigger dude. He was nice in 2K too.
I mean,
2K. He's a baller.
I feel like I don't know if it's necessarily the Orlando curse, but Orlando has had stars.
And all 3 of them got shunned from the top 75. All 3 of them.
Tracy.
Tracy didn't make it.
Grant?
Didn't make it. Dwight didn't make it.
Wow.
Orlando didn't have any player in the top 75. That was an
Shaq.
Orlando Magic player.
Shaq.
He's a Laker.
We drafted him.
He's known as a Laker.
If we're going based like the NFL.
No, I'm saying
thing,
what you're known as. His
Yeah.
Hall of Fame bust is a Laker. He has a statue in L.A.
Yeah.
Does he have his number retired in Orlando?
Yeah, he came back.
Moment of silence. You can't have anything nice.
No. Paolo.
He is fucking.
If we get
balling.
Paolo and Victor.
He is
Not
good.
we. I'm not a fucking Magic fan, but if
Why
the
not?
city of Orlando gets Paolo and Victor, that will be 2 nice things that they better fucking
I
take
don't
care
think
of.
that's going to go like that. I think we're going to win too much.
Well, it's the lottery. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I mean, I know they got it now to where you're not necessarily rewarded for losing, but
They finished bottom 4. They'll be fine.
That's all a probability thing.
Yeah.
Ping pong's bouncing around.
let's see. The Magic are
Tankatron. I got it.
16 and 27.
They would be 5th right now. They would have the 5th highest odds to win the number 1 overall pick.
I guess crazier shit has happened.
New Orleans went from 7th to 1, right?
Yeah, because what's his name got hurt. He's out for a little bit, right?
No, I'm saying when AD got hurt,
Oh.
they went and got Zion.
Yeah, they did.
Houston has the number 1. Houston doesn't deserve that.
No, because they really do suck.
Charlotte.
Who's
I
that?
mean, LaMelo and
Jalen
Victor
Green?
would be.
Jalen Green.
Yeah, Jalen.
He's
Green's
pretty
there.
fucking nice, but and the other guy with the god, who was the other? They just drafted him. Fuck. The Rockets. The Rockets.
Jabari Smith.
No.
Kevin Porter Jr.
There you go.
I think Jabari is the more.
He was drafted this past year, but Kevin Porter
And Sengun.
he's been pretty good too. You saw how Eric Gordon said some shit like
Eric Gordon.
yeah, he said something like pretty much just saying that we suck. There was no improvement. Like, there is nothing positive to say about this team. Which sucks for him because, you know, you would like to see him on
He'll be a trade asset.
Yeah.
He'll be on the Lakers.
Yeah, you'd like to see him. Like, well, I don't want to see him that either because it's not a better situation. I guess it is slightly, but
the Lakers have a pick swap, but they have decent. They are like in the 9 spot right now.
the Lakers suck fucking ass.
Okay.
LeBron needs to get out of there.
He's not going to. He'll never.
Until-
never ask for a trade.
No, he's only leaving when Bronny gets in the league.
Bronny, go to Orlando.
So 2 games separate them from the 8th seed.
The Lakers.
The Lakers. 3 from the 7, 4 from the 6, 5 from the 5. Like they're all clustered up
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
They still have a chance. They're not.
Yeah,
It's the top
but
13. You
I
know,
mean-
From 4 to 13. Look, the 4th seed is 23 and 18.
Oh.
The 13th seed is 19 and 23.
Yeah.
It's a 3-game difference.
I mean, I don't really pay attention to the NBA until after the All-Star break anyway, so I just kind of like keep up, you know, just kind of see where everyone's at. Like, I saw that Portland was the number 1 seed for a while, and then they lost. Like,
Now they're the 11th seed.
yeah, so I mean,
That's how clustered the West is. Denver and Memphis are a team above the rest, and New Orleans is 3rd.
Nolans. I mean, they have talent. I
and
mean,
then
they
the
have a pretty
Kings,
good
you
team.
know.
And Zion.
Zion's hurt though. Still,
Yeah, but
isn't
I'm fine. Zion will be fine.
he? He's keeps on pulling his hammies and shit.
I'm not worried.
A hammy.
I will
puller.
buy all of your Zion stuff.
No, I'm keeping it. I'm just saying. He needs to
keep it.
fucking.
He's averaged this season. He's averaged 26, 7, and 5. He's gonna be just fucking fine in his fucking 2nd year playing.
Oh shit.
It's a big gay. Big fucking gay.
McCankey.
I'm excited to watch Zion for years to
Zion
come.
Williamson.
Hopefully he stays healthy.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. All right, guys. Any last words? Anything that we would like to get off our chest before we sign off?
No, I think that's
For another episode of the No Hangover podcast. Jacob, anything you'd like to say? Any message? Anything? Nothing?
Can't give you all of the information yet. Soon. Coming soon.
Okay, very ominous. That being said, you know, guys, speak about your mental health. It's okay to talk about it. Don't be hitting people. And space is a real fucking thing.
And be honest in relationships. Tell
And
people how
be
you feel.
fucking honest. Be yourself
women-
on the very first date. Fuck it.
Unless
Women-
yourself is a bad, abusive person.
No.
then
Well,
Let
still
them
be
know
yourself.
because
Definitely
that-
be yourself in
Yeah,
that
so
case.
well, don't do it.
Well, don't do it, but still show.
But save a woman from that. So be
Yes.
yourself. Let her make that decision. Women, if you hear this, I'm saying a man, if a man is telling you who he is,
Believe them.
Believe it.
Believe them.
believe it. Stop trying to fix people. Just believe it and get the fuck out of there.
And everybody love everybody. Deuces.
Peace.